So who was told off for inappropriate behaviour towards a child? The answer was Esther Ransom.
Thanks for that, Amy. First, though, political correctness. Is it poisoning modern life in Britain, or is it a panacea to society's ills, prejudice and discrimination? Because you forget, don't you, that until relatively recently, prejudice, racial and sexual, could be openly voiced. Up to the early 70s, you could advertise a job, but say only white men could apply. There was little protection for those who were bullied, and many trades offered staff little in the way of safety or care. But that has all changed now, and quite right too. The trouble is, we're now so concerned about causing offence or putting people in harm's way that we can't seem to breathe without worrying someone's going to criticise us for it. Political correctness, I'd say, lies at the heart of many increasingly bonkers rules and bylaws. Councils refusing to put up hanging baskets in case they fall down and injure someone. And yet, has anyone actually ever been hurt by a falling hanging basket? No. And then there was that ad for an air traffic control job last week that was in Braille. Well, we can't not include the blind in our hunt for someone with 20/20 vision, can we? And then, I mean, there's a PC story every day. Today's from the Daily Star, the Tyne and Weir school that's outlawed the sack race in case kids get hurt. Now, most of these examples we have a bit of a laugh at, yeah? But I'm wondering if PC has a more insidious side. The mum banned from travelling with her epileptic son in a council taxi because she hasn't been screened for a criminal record. Now, of course, no one wants perverts working with children, but I believe this obsession with record checking is a form of political correctness, a constant drive to eradicate risk from our daily lives. And this determined effort by all but invisible Jobsworths to undermine common sense. Esther, in her book here, If Not Now When, you've written about how you were castigated for kissing a child on the head at an awards do, and this was deemed inappropriate behaviour.
Officially rebuked. I was officially rebuked. What had happened was he'd told me that he'd rung Childline, and I was concerned because not all the children who try to get through the Childline 0800 1111 can get through. But he said yes, he had. So I said, and did it help? And he said it was terrific. I was being bullied, but I followed their advice, and now the bullies are my best friends. And I was so overjoyed, I said, sweetheart, I'm going to have to give you a kiss. I'm so thrilled. And I kissed the top of his head. Official rebuke from the most senior executive of the charity. Inappropriate behaviour with a child. Now, the crucial thing is, how did the child respond? Well, the child was very pleased with me. We got a very good write-up from the children who thought that we were warm and funny and they thought we were going to be all horrible and cold. Rang me up and asked me if I was coming to the next charity event, so I had to be careful because I knew that the professionals were obviously going to be terrified that I might hug him next time, and so they wouldn't let me come back.
OK, let's take a step back and your overview of political correctness. It is true, see, mine simply because I hate it, but it is true that if it wasn't for a concerted effort by politicians and others, our world wouldn't be as fair as it is now. In fact, Lord Wahid Ali was telling me that he thinks Labour's great claim is that Britain has never been a fairer place.
Well, now let's look at my son Joshua, of whom I have spoken before on this show, the medical student. He is studying in Plymouth. When he started his university career there, he was CRB checked, Criminal Record Bureau checked. Quite rightly, he's going to work in hospitals. Then, in his vacation, he decided he'd like to do some voluntary work in a hospice. Would have been good for them, would have been good for him. Different health authority, so he had to be checked all over again. There wasn't time, he couldn't do the work. Now, in another vacation, he would like to shadow a surgeon.
Tell me he's got to have another check.
Absolutely. Now, in fact, officially, CRB checks run for 3 years. So actually, the first check he had is perfectly valid. But because it's chaotic, totally chaotic, each health authority that he applies for requires a new check. Now, what I said in my piece for the Daily Mail last week was, and what I say in my book, is that, in fact, we don't want people who've been convicted of offences against children working in childcare professions. And we know that paedophiles would do anything, groom children, groom adults, to bring them into close physical contact. We see what's been revealed in the North Wales care homes. We see what's being revealed in the care homes in Jersey. It's hideous stuff, and stuff
but
that
it is
we...
also true.
But the point is that it's got completely out of hand. Now, you know, I had a woman come in, a grandmother who is looking after her daughter's 2 children. Her mother, who is 95 years old, cannot see those children until she has been criminally record bureau checked, because the children are technically wards of courts in social services. Now, that is nuts. Now, my reaction when I hear Esther talk is that I wish, I don't wish, because that would be wrong, but the chief executive who told you it was inappropriate behaviour is insane, in my view. I mean, absolutely. I mean, people have gone completely bonkers. And it's not politically correctness. What it is we now live in a world of lawyers and laws, and people are too frightened anymore to take any responsibility. And all these lawyers come up with these complicated laws, and it's completely insane.
The line about Boris saying that he would tell his kids, you know, if you saw trouble, you know, walk away, look after yourself, and there was a lot of debate about that. And I just said on this show, one of the reasons, well, you did the thing about would you get involved or not, and one of the things I said that people might stop people, and it would certainly make me think twice, is whether or not I would end up being arrested if I was to be
You hear
involved.
all the time, in my constituency, all the time people are being arrested.
So do we need PC police, Ed? To actually somebody who looks back at this?
First of all, we need to stop passing so many laws.
We need common sense. You said this in your piece last week. What Esther said, which is the thing that grabbed me most about that piece in the Mail, was that you said we've lost common sense. Common sense has been replaced by political correctness and health and safety rules. And nobody, you know, people are afraid. And I think I think PC is responsible for much of the racism that goes on in this country today, the perceived racism. Because what happens is the people, you said before, we live in a fair society. For some people. Fairer. It's fair for some people. You know? I mean, I had an argument with a lady in a shop the other week who was incredibly rude.
I find that hard to believe.
No. She was incredibly rude. She happened to be black. The person who owned the shop came in and said to me, I'm going to call the police because... And I said, what? And she said, if I don't protect her, I will be prosecuted.
My wife complained about some work we had done on our house, and when she complained, she got accused by the workmen of harassment. I mean, it's just...
or racism. If you have an argument... and I said to this owner of the shop, you mean because I'm having an argument with your black manager, that makes me racist? She said, that's how the law would be interpreted. She said, I have to protect her.
Crazy.
Now, would I have been protected, or would a white manageress have been protected? And I think what's happened is it's making society divisive. And I think there are a lot of people have a lot of resentments that they wouldn't have if common sense was just...
And it's about power. It's about people using the law, like your charity commission, your charity bloke using his power, because he's a so-called professional who knows what is appropriate behaviour for children, to tell you off.
We all share a similar view. What I'm interested by is whether or not the tap can be turned off, because I suspect it probably can't. Let's throw it open to you. Political correctness, has it done some good? Has it now gone too far? Maybe you think we've got the balance just about right, bar the odd occasional bonkers story. Amy?
OK, let's go straight to Jilly. She's on line 1.